Hi there and welcome back to another text and talk about the Stellaris Dev Diary number 50, which is called The Journey Ahead, which is really a big name. And it's a big post about the ideas that will be coming, about the stuff that will be happening in the future, about the great plan that has been laid out in Stellaris, and also about the smaller plans that will directly affect the game. Now, first, Wiz says that they are happy that they didn't make Heinlein a big expansion, that they were happy to focus more on bug fixing, quality of life, UI improvements, and something like that. And I also think that, because the improvements have been really good. There's already another bug fix called 131 out, so it's really a good thing that they're doing. Like, they're building a solid base to stand on. And where we are going, so they have two new updates planned. One of them called Kennedy, which will be released before the end of the year. A small update targeting a few specific key issues, just such as precursor event chains and endgame crises. That looks or sounds pretty good, Kennedy. And then Banks. If you know the author Banks, they say that there are some clues about what you can expect with Banks, and the full-fledged expansion adding to that. They're also stating what they want. So the most important areas that's in the points here, fleshing out the mid and late game through the addition of more interesting narratives and galactic events akin to awakened fallen empires that shake up the galactic scene. That is very good. Improving the internal workings of empires, making pops and leaders more interesting, making empires feel more alive. That is like the direction that the EU4 and Crusader Kings are also going. Like, everyone matters. Like, you wouldn't say, like, for example, the United States are really really big state, and there's so many people in the United States, and all of them matter. But for the policy, for the politics out there, really the president matters a lot. So you should also respect that position, not only as a position that adds some improvement modifiers, but also as a person, because the person really matters a lot. I mean, if you think about the actual choice the US at the moment has, both of the candidates seem to split the nation a bit. So they're not really felt as the feel-good president. Something you could rather address to Obama, at least at the time where he was elected. There he was the feel-good president for everyone. Like, the country was not as split. So they want to flesh out the personalities, probably. So they're also expanding on the ethics system, creating more unique play styles and enhancing role-playing. That's something I really like to hear, because I love that. If you've seen, or if you see, watch my Let's Plays, I'm always trying to get a role-playing experience there. And everything that adds to that is really good, because it makes the game more fun. Like, you can have a set of rules, and it will be a very good game. Like, take chess. Chess never gets old. It's the same. Like, if you don't play it against the computer, you will have a lot of fun with chess. But it's only fun for like 1 or 2 hours. There are certain nerds that can live through hours and hours and hours in chess, and it won't get really boring for them. But that's really the minority. That's people that are just focused. That's their only hobby, and we want probably some distraction along the very nice strategic decisions we can take. We want some choice, to have a choice that is also emotional and not only based on numbers, because then you're just sitting there with your calculator on and just comparing numbers and then choosing the better decision. Like it should be a decision that not only matters for the numbers. So, and they've added also a bigger list. What they want to add, like in specific features, not so much in ideas, but in features. Ship appearance that differs for each empire. So no two empires ships look exactly the same. That is something we had in Master of Orion 2 to an extent, and that is really a good thing. I loved to design, also to choose the design for ships too. It was so fun, really. More story and events and reactive narratives that give a sense of an unfolding story as you play. That really makes sense. As it is going on right now, you have some stories, but it's not like a whole story that you experience. It's like a bunch of stories that you live through. More potential for empire customization. Ability to build competitive tall empires. What this means is, like, you build smaller empires that still stay competitive. At the moment, you cannot have a big fleet if you have only few systems. And you'll just go down if you concentrate on research and have like 3 systems at the start, and that's all. So, to make them a little bit more competitive, like, you can just start in a bad location, have a small empire, and then that's it in the game. At least on difficulties that are higher than normal. Deeper federations they want to have that start out as loose alliances and can eventually be turned into single states through diplomatic maneuvering. So that's also really, that's a fusion of empires. Like, that really makes sense. Like, if you take the Holy Roman Empire, that's like single states going into a bigger construct that really was some kind of giant. Nobody knows what it was, but everyone was afraid to attack it. Only when they knew that the Kaiser, they would attack it, like, and probably attack the Kaiser's enemies. So the ability to set rights and obligations for particular species in your empire. So you could define certain castes or something like that. Certain roles particular species have to play. Like, you could enslave one species and the other species will be the ruling ones. Like, the first ones go to the mines, like in the normal evil empire setup in a movie, and the other ones will rule over them and just only reside in like research areas. But it can only be that you have a bunch of very happy farmers or something like that. Global food that can be shared between planets. So food is another resource that may be added. So to stimulate more growth, probably. So you can specialize in some planets where you want to send the food to, and some planets that deliver the food. Super weapons, because yeah, that food was like the thing you could not specialize in. You always had to have food on a planet, and that really doesn't make sense. If you look at Master of Orion 2, I'm repeating myself there, but you could have like food freighters that would bring the food to other planets. If you had one planet producing a lot of food, you could specialize in that. You could have the specialized buildings that you don't have at the moment for food, and you could bring over the food to other planets at a cost. At a cost, but it could be done. So you could specialize more if you had more systems. That will really be good. Super weapons and planet killers. That's another thing about Master of Orion. They also had planet killers. Yeah, I don't want to get the new version. Ability to construct space habitats and ring worlds. So you could make your own planets out of that. That would be really cool. And also akin to Master of Orion 2. I think someone in the dev team must have played a lot of Master of Orion 2 and thought, hey, maybe these things, they're really good. We should have them in Stellaris as well. Why not? More interesting mechanics for pre-FTL civilizations. And that's something really unique for Stellaris, the pre-FTL civilizations. Or it's really not bound to the classic space games, and that will be pretty cool. I mean, the coolest I had was like I had produced some corn circles in a pre-FTL civilization, and they were upset about it and got some believers for it, but that was all that happened. And factions that are proper interest groups with specific likes and dislikes and the potential to be a benefit to an empire instead of just being rebels. That's also good, because you would just change something in the policies and then half of your population instantly dislikes you and you didn't know why. So you should really have these factions. I've also tried around with factions, imagined factions in the Let's Roleplays that would in the US politics, you would have the Falcons and the Doves, and I would basically have one faction that were Falcons, so more for war and power, and that were Doves, so more for build-up and trade and something like that. So that will be added, and it will be very interesting if it will be added. A galactic community with interstellar politics and a space UN. Now, I'm really thinking, what could that be? It may be that maybe something with an expanded federation that already has interstellar politics, or it could be something like in Civ 5 with the UN that you had there and the policies you could utter. Then buildable dreadnoughts and titans, so bigger ships, and maybe we'll get to the Death Stars, like in Master of Orion. That was glorious. Oh, I'm so much into sentimentality there a bit, but it was really a great game. Stellaris, though, is also a really great game, and I love it. Maybe I'll add a Master of Orion playthrough. It's a much shorter game, much less epic, so to say, from a time point of view, but also very fun. So that's what's going to be coming to Stellaris, and I think all of these are very good things. And if you look into the forum of Stellaris from time to time, they always have these threads there where they ask users what would they want as new portraits, as new features, and they're listening to that. And that's what makes these games so good. You also have the ability to vote on these things. You can agree, helpful, respectfully disagree. So that's what is really good about the forums as well, and that's why I like them. And why I like Stellaris, not only because of the base game that is already good, but because it's being developed into an even better game all the time. So thank you for watching. If you're interested in the news videos I'm doing regularly, this time about the Dev Diary 50, next week about 51 and so on, and about some additional stuff, then just subscribe to the playlist or to the channel. It's much easier because, yeah, I'll just have some specials there sometimes about DLCs and all of that kind of stuff. So, happy gaming to you, and see you in a next episode of some video of me. I hope this helped you. I hope this could interest you. I hope this gave you a good time. So, happy gaming to you, and see you